She still can't even stand.
She's so wobbly.
Sean Whaley is furious.
She's upset. But 100%.
Welcome in everyone to a brand new edition of Axe Kick Picks, episode 199. Kid, how we doing today? Feeling good, living better. How we talking?
Pastrana number, and even bigger next week when we reach 200 for a massive pay-per-view. But man, I mean, like the UFC's going all over the place. You know, Rio last week, we got Vancouver this week. When the hell are we gonna get a South Carolina card?
Not in Conway. I'm sorry, for all our fans out in Conway. I'm sorry, but outside of Coastal,
not much.
Not much. By the way, I probably have asked you this before. How far is like Clemson from you?
Seneca, Clemson area is about 2.5 to 3 hours.
So it's a trip.
Yeah, but that's to go show like Jersey, you're out of the state by that.
Oh yeah, I was about to say
the whole state north to south in about 2 hours. You could be 4 hours driving and still be in South Carolina.
But you're real close. I know you and I drove to Charlotte, and that was only about like an hour and a half from you, right? Give or take.
Being generous, I think we were closer to the two.
Okay, but still closer to going there then.
Yeah, not too bad. Since we're closer to the North Carolina border, it's probably easier to get to North Carolina than there's probably more parts of South Carolina.
Wow. Yeah. But yeah, it's going all over. They were in Rio last week. King of Rio. I mean, did you see the Jose Aldo? That was amazing.
Yeah,
crying with this
family.
That
man. I mean,
it was insane. So we'll recap UFC Rio. Dana White Contender Series Week 10 is in the books. Season 9 is in the books. We'll talk about that. We got north of the border. We are going to Vancouver UFC, and it's a very, very fun card. Obviously, headlined by RDR taking on Brandon, all in Allen. We got the chief support. I've been dying to say this fucking guy's name. Mike Malott. Fucking taking on Kevin Holland. You got Cheeto Vera taking on Amen Zahabi, Canadian guy. You got Jasmine Jazz Hands. That's a big fight in the flyweight division, kid.
Yes.
And then welcome back, Matt Fervola. That's a year off for him. Taking on Kyle Nelson.
No joke. Monster is no joke.
And to be honest, the main event in the prelims, they can never count out Davey Grant taking on Charles Jourdain. So you got a very fun card.
Not to sleep anything. That's a sleeper fight. I think no one's going out. The fans are getting a treat.
100%. So we'll talk about that. We got picks there. We got some news. I mean, UFC 323 is just absolutely stacked. They are going out of the year with a bang. 2 title fights on the line. We'll talk about that. We got some boxing news as well. They are going to settle the trilogy. Anderson Silva, Chris Weidman. We cannot wait for that. And then Joey, we went to 3 different countries. Yeah. We're going to start in Rio, go to Canada, and then we're going to end in Eastern Europe with Poland and KSW 111.
Your boy, and still
Phil Defry. I mean, he's a legend.
14 consecutive title defenses now. I mean, it's out of control.
He's out of control. But you know who is out of control? And that is Charles. He's always going to be Charles Dubronx Oliveira. I mean, performance of the night. Is it fair to say Martus Gamrot
shit the bed?
No, tired himself out on the run there. I was like, bro, he was gassed.
It's like, remember JT Romuto shaking? I don't even think he was on the Phillies. He might have still been on the Phillies at this point. This sprinting from the bullpen.
It kind of reminded me of Brandon Nimmo, just every time just sprinting to first base. I'm like, come on, bro, you're a tryhard.
Or what's the movie where the guy comes out, same thing, catcher shaking his head, but the dude does a slide. Is it Major League or is it Rookie of the Year or something like that? He's got the glasses on. He's always like freaking like trying to.
I don't want to embarrass myself, but I haven't seen either of those movies.
Oh,
and I'm a baseball guy.
You're a baseball guy. There, you got some homework.
Yeah, so I got some homework, but yeah,
no, I mean, he didn't. He just got outclassed.
Yeah, he got outclassed, and maybe he took it taking on short notice. Who knows? But
the environment.
He dared to be great. And, Brazil just had one hell of a week. Alex Pereira got his belt back. Davison Figueiredo, he won. Charles Oliveira, he called the rematch for Max Holloway with the BMF. We'll see if that happens. I don't know if I like that, but
A rematch in years in the making. These are two completely different fighters from when they first fought.
And to be honest, everyone who winds up losing to Ilia Topuria winds up following up and getting a win back. So we got to follow that trend. So next time someone Ilia Topuria beats, we are backing them next time. But great job. And he was just aggressive from the start. He did not let go.
No.
Eventually, he ended up getting the submission.
He got his way in the second. You could have seen it, something probably breaking his way in the first. And I don't blame you for taking Gamrot. You know, we looked at it for years now. It's like, when is he going to get a shot? If not now, when? So I could see why we backed him in that moment. But it was Charles. Charles is still here. He hasn't ever left.
No.
And, I think Gamrot is a little one-dimensional. We have seen him be able to stand, but you know what he wants to do.
Yeah.
And you do what he wants to do better than him, you're going to take him completely out of his element. So I think anything he had to offer was just completely nullified by Charles Oliveira implementing his own grappling, takedowns, and wrestling. And then before you know it, when he gets his game taken the back, he could basically open up any submission from there.
Yeah, I'm a fool. Honestly, I mean, backing Mateusz Gamrot in Rio, the scenes of him, I don't mind watching UFC at the crib, but that would have been one time I would have loved to be in the crowd, just taking everything in, him celebrating with his family.
When he jumped out into the crowd.
Oh, it was amazing. I mean, the atmosphere probably was through the roof. Back to back, you had Davison Figueiredo get that split decision, and then you go and get Charles finishing him. Yeah, I think this sets back Mateusz Gamrot. If he would have won, I think he was one away.
You could argue, he still would have been one away. That's crazy to say for as much as he's done for the UFC and the weight class.
Yeah.
But I mean, it just, the dust has settled. Not quite like Jose Aldo jumping in a crowd, Charles Oliveira, but it's just like the securities. Like, I understand why you got to protect the fans and the fighters. I think that can maybe abruptly start something, just getting out of control. But it's kind of going to be hard to top Jose Aldo jumping in the crowd and seeing, the wave of people surrounding him and picking him up in the sky. We haven't seen something quite like that, but still a heartfelt moment for Charles Oliveira, and he's still here.
Yeah.
And I know you did mention that Max fight. I personally would like to see it.
I mean, it makes sense. I understand in the rankings, Charles is at 3 in the lightweight, Max is at 4.
They can't beat the guy. We've seen this before, right? There's always that, like DJ, Mighty Mouse.
They have to do, if they're going to do it, my claim is they have to do it in either Rio or Hawaii.
Why? Just to
Max
cater to one of them?
Just cater to one of them. It doesn't, or go back to Canada, Saskatchewan. That's where they originated. They had it the first time.
Yeah.
So they have to go to either those 3.
Washington, D.C. and the White House card.
That's a long layoff, though,
I
for
know.
Max.
But
and Max came out and said he doesn't really want to wait that long.
We had that conversation with Ariel and Corey, and he was like saying that, I would love to fight Sean on the White House card. It's just like you said, the timetables isn't necessarily matching. Are these fighters willing to wait for that big of a card?
Mm-hmm.
They might get an offer that they can't refuse.
Yeah, exactly. And dating that back to the White House, I just think they're going to do all patriotic, all American guys or women like Akela Harrison, who reps the red, white, and blues, come out. Shout out Clay Guida, but he's not on the roster anymore. But like a guy like Michael Chandler or Justin Gaethje, they need to put guys like that on the card, I feel like.
Yeah, but they're still clamoring to get like Connor on there. I guess this is a pipe dream, but you could see some international guys that have some strong, I guess, state ties.
Yeah.
You know what I mean? So they can build that card kind of however they want if they get it. I'm still on the fence, man. I still kind of skeptical about the whole thing. They'll wishing one hand shit in the other. What's going to fill up first?
Yeah. So, I mean, it was amazing. I know everyone, was like, hey, this is a quick turnaround. Is this smart? What the fuck do we know? That's Charles Oliveira knows, and he wanted to get back out there. I know he has three three faces tatted on his chest. I might just get one, and it's Charles Du Bronx Oliveira right in the fucking middle of my
Right in the
chest.
center, sternum.
And dye my hair blonde too.
Yeah, that's what next.
At it.
We'll make a gentleman's wager. Next
Yeah.
time he's out there, we'll dye it. Even if he is fighting Max, you know how big of Max guys we are.
Another blonde hair guy, Davison Figueiredo. I mean, I understand Montel is kind of a counter striker, but you can't be a counter striker and allow Davison to continue to attack first in Rio. So that's why you didn't get the nod. You got to put the.
It was a little closer than indicated, though. Don't you think?
I thought Davison Figueiredo won, and I had money on Montel. He just never seemed to go for it.
No, you're right. Yeah. Every time he kind of got brought down though by Figgy, he would just stand up. You know what I mean? There was no kind of grappling defense. It was like the Derek Lewis method. Like I was just calling him mini Derek Lewis in there. Like bro was trying to knock you out, and he would let you have your way with him if you were going to initiate the grappling, take him down, but he's just going to stand right back up. So I think for some strange reason, he put a little bit of too much merit into that, finding a way to on his feet and then maybe finding a chance to knock Figgy. But man, look at Figgy. I don't think he's susceptible to getting knocked out. I don't think he's been knocked out in his career. I think he's only really been submitted. Maybe that was Moreno. So he's just a tough out. So I think this was like bad stylistically for Montel. I still think he's a good fighter, but that was a big stage for him to kind of show who he is. And he was a big favorite. Now you gave Figgy the nod. I mean, I think he just catapults ahead of you. And another one who's taking a big step back in Montel Jackson. I think the losers of this card, I think they took a big hit in their stock.
Yeah, Montel Jackson not ranked in the bantamweight division. Here comes Marcus McGee. He's back in the top 15. Davison stays at 6, but what's next for him? We hear rumbling. Sean O'Malley and Sang Yadong. Corey Sandhagen is trying to clamor for that Sean O'Malley fight.
I think they're both taken. Now, they might not get their wish of the White House card, but I think Corey and Sean are going to fight. I think that's the fight fans want. I think the UFC wants that.
So where does that leave Sang Yadong at 5?
Maybe matching up with Figgy, right? If we don't see, as we talked about the timetable, if we don't see these guys getting these matchups, we could easily play matchmaker and get them going.
We'll see what happens here this week with Chito Vera and Zahabi. Maybe winner gets Davison Figueiredo.
That would be good. That'd be good for either of those guys coming off a win against their opponent.
Yeah, so we'll see there. But yeah, great win for Davison Figueiredo. He gets a split decision over Montel Jackson. Unfortunately, we get the win with Joel Alvarez, but he does not get the knockout. He winds up winning unanimous decision. He scored a 10-8 too, so it was like 30-26 times 3.
Damn. I mean, what are your opinions on Luque, right? I mean, I feel like we just talked about with fighters, we're not in the business of retiring them, but they're like 1 foot out the door, right? 1 foot still in the game. It doesn't necessarily bode for success. I'm also looking at Joel Alvarez, like he might not be good for 170. And I hate to see that because you struggle a little bit against a older Luque. As we talked about, 1 foot out the door. He might not necessarily fit 170 all that well. I was arguing on the chats that he's probably a perfect guy for 165. If you ever had to make a case for opening up more divisions, Joel Alvarez would probably be a perfect 165er.
I mean, he's 2-3 in his last 5. He's on back-to-back losses. Kevin Holland submitted him. He lost unanimous decision over Joel Alvarez. He beat Gorambe. He got knocked out by Buckley. He won unanimous decision over Dos Anjos. He got knocked out by Jeff Neal. So it's like win, loss, loss. Next time we gotta back him.
I don't know if we can follow that trend with him.
Joel Alvarez is a beast, though. This is the first fight he didn't finish his opponent, though. Were you surprised?
Yeah, totally. Do you think because of that, do you think it makes sense that he should maybe go back down to 155 or just try to get filled in at 170?
I don't think he can make 155.
That's the thing. Yeah, that's what I was saying. 165, he'd probably be such a perfect fit for it. But if he's got to settle into 170, he's probably just got to fill it out a little bit more. But maybe it takes away some of his other advantages, like the speed, being like maybe a faster guy at 170.
Mm-hmm.
But like you said, he said it had a 10-8, but he didn't put away Luque first time. So we got to say, I think he's got to maybe fill into the division a little bit more, and then the power will follow.
100%. So, other than that, Johan Denines, he did not.
Who cares? That Barrio Pinto in ring octagon interview was fantastic.
I don't speak English.
But he turned into a proper Englishman right there, bro.
Yo, he was crazy. He knocked out Thomas Peterson. We didn't get there. Honestly, I thought it was 1-1 going into the third, and then he just caught him. But
for Vitor Petrino,
yeah,
bro, that was a highlight reel knockout. But at heavyweight, he couldn't make a name for himself.
I felt bad for my girl Carolina Kovacevic.
That wasn't
that was not. It was not a good sight to see. She was getting beat up around the cage, and
she's so tough, man. And I give her all
a little too tough for her own good.
Too tough for her own good because she could have got out of there in the first.
Yeah,
and she made it all the way to the third. So she's tired 5 minutes. It wasn't her giving any offense. Pilastri was completely dominant, and it was just Carolina completely on the receiving end of all that damage. So.
Yeah, and the other performance of the night goes to the other female in the bantamweight division,
Beatrice Mesquita. She's Bea's really talented with her grappling. She is, I think, a multiple-time world champion in the jiu-jitsu world. I think it's IBJJF, so in the gi and ADCC, no gi. I mean, she could do it all.
She wound up submitting her opponent in the second round, and then they cut her opponent, the Russian. So, not the best 7 days.
Call yourself Russian Ronda.
Yeah.
Your time to
go. So overall, it was a fun card, but not the most profitable for me. How did you end up doing?
Yeah, not as well. I do pride myself. There wasn't that bad, but 2-4 for UFC Rio.
Nice. All right, and then week 10, season 9, the final week, Dana White Contender Series. We have 5 contract winners: Michael Oliveira, Juan Diaz, Levy Rodriguez Jr., Wes Solch. Winded up all of them.
A Sulev stretch. I mean, it was a pretty cool finale to the 2025 season.
Yeah.
And man, I did really well. I went 5-1. We missed on Freddie Vidal. I was 2 on him. That story, gym teacher coming in to make his dreams come true. You come across a 25-year-old Muay Thai champion, Levi Rodriguez. I completely discredited him, and every time I do that, I pay the price. So should have looked a little bit more into the opposite side. But man, still for the final week, 5-1, and for Dana White Contender Series 2025, like you said, season 9 we were in.
Yeah,
I went 30-14.
Attaboy. So if you were tailing Joe's picks, you have been extremely profitable within the last 2.5 months here in season 9 Dana White Contender Series. Dana White came out and said the Contender Series will move to Paramount in 2026. So get your subscriptions ready. We are going to Paramount for season 10. Joe, season 9 of Dana White Contender Series matched all-time season record with 46 contracts awarded over 10 weeks. Do you know how many times it got 46 contracts?
The first season.
No, season 1, 16.
Season 1 was only 16. So it's never happened. This was the most they ever given out.
This is the second time it has happened in 9 seasons. Last year, season 8, we had 42 contracts. Season 7, 46 contracts.
Wow.
Season 6, 43. Season 5, 39. Season 4, 37. Season 3, 30. Season 2, 23. And season 1, 16.
First season. Yeah, just let's get the entire UFC roster from DWCS.
Hey, I think it's the best thing on TV on Tuesday nights. If there's no postseason baseball, it's the best thing.
That's the thing to watch.
So, but yeah, thank you for the updated record. And
strong, brother, and in the green, like very positive record.
Very positive. So we're looking to roll over our bankroll into UFC Vancouver. But before we do that, a quick word from our sponsor, brought to you each and every episode by Viva Tequila Seltzer, the most refreshing hard seltzer on the market, hands down. There's no wonder why Viva was voted #1 hard seltzer in the world by San Francisco World Spirit Competition, with only 88 calories, 0 carbs, 0 sugar, and a light 4.5 ABV. Viva is the perfect drink for your post-game celebration, as it was created with that active lifestyle in mind. We flavor our tequila seltzer because flavor is the spice of life, and we like our drinks with just a kick, just like how we like our lives, whether it's Huckleberry playing a round of golf with the boys or an elderberry watching UFC Vancouver. It doesn't matter. Our favorites pair perfectly with that Artisanal Blanco tequila for that subtle and refreshing drink, I believe, here at X Kick Picks and at Viva is to live long, live well, and live it up. All right, okay, let's go north of the border to our beautiful friends in Canada. Prelims go off at 4 p.m. Eastern here on the East Coast. Main card, 7 p.m. start. So a little better. We don't got to go all night into the night, but it is a very, very fun card, especially the main card. But we will start in the women's bantamweight division, kid.
And we need to get some new blood injected there, man. Do you remember watching Tanira Lisboa in Charlotte? She wasn't fighting at bantamweight.
Who?
Yeah, Tanira Lisboa, Thai Panther, right? Is her nickname? I remember that. I remember everything from that night. But right, she was fighting at flyweight. I think she's moving up in weight class. And granted, she beat Ravena Oliveira, who's on this card as well. I'm not that high on Tanira Lisboa's ground game. I look at Melissa Croden, and you might not know much about her, and she is coming off of a loss, actually. But to get the nod to come into the UFC, you look at her resume, you look at her footage, she is a finisher, and normally they come in the first round, so they can happen quick, but she's strong, and she seems to like taking her opponents down. And like I said, I think if it stays standing, Lisboa has a shot, but if it hits the mat, I think it's game over. Cronin can TKO her or find the submission. So let's get on the board early. I mean, like I said, coming off of a loss, making your debut, and you're still favorited slightly, minus 105 I'm seeing, as compared to Lisboa is plus 105. Let's squeeze that odds up to Croden inside the distance at plus 275. I'm going all in on the Canadian to start the card.
Yeah, I'll have a play as well. Start the card off. I like Melissa Croden here. I took her on the money line. You could get that. Like Joe said, it ranges minus 113, minus 125. Shop around. I see minus 111 is the best right now. I like her straight up. In her 6 career wins, Melissa Croden has 6 career finishes.
Yeah.
While obviously that's against lower level opposition on the regional scene, I just feel like she has great instinct when it comes to finding a finish. Now she gets her opponent who you mentioned, she struggled with her physicality since coming to the UFC, and Croden, I think it will be able to exploit that as well and get another one on her perfect record. So I agree. Inside the distance, I got it at plus 275.
Love that. We are on the same side and opposite ways, so you're safe playing it that way because, of course, if she wins unanimously, you still get the nod.
No, inside the distance. Oh, yeah.
I took inside the distance. So I'm taking a little chance with her, but her
speaks for itself.
It speaks for itself. Let's go to this middleweight division. Did you see the size discrepancy of these guys? Azamat Bekoev is minus 280 on the card, but he is a huge disadvantage in height and reach, about 5 inches in height and reach. I think he's only got a 72-inch reach, probably 6 foot. Yosri Bolegari is coming off he lost to Marco Tullio his first time out in the Dana White Contender Series, and then he comes back out and he gets the nod to join the ranks of the UFC. He's 6'5" with a 79-inch reach. So, I mean, he is going to be massive in there, but a stand-up technical guy versus a wrestler, it's going to go one way or the other, right? Are you willing to lay the chalk on Bekoev, or do you want to take a dog in this spot? I stayed away from a side, and I surprisingly took a total. I think you got this much difference. I don't think necessarily anyone's going to get their way. I think you could see Bekoev maybe taking it to the ground and finding a submission or ground pound finish, and Belegari to keep him up range and kind of control the fight. You could see a knockout. I don't think Bekoev is easy to knock out, so more likely Beglo has that decision victory. So I'm going to go over 2.5 rounds. Bekoev has finishes, but he could grind out a decision win. And Belegari, like I said, he's going to want to play the distance game. So it's about who gets their way. And I think if neither do through the duration of 2.5 rounds, we will hit the over. So plus 140, I'm willing to take it and not pick a side. Like I mentioned, Ravena Oliveira has coming off a loss against Tainara Lisboa, and she's being counted out according to the odds at plus 250. She takes on Stephanie Luciano at minus 270. This strawweight clash, I think, is going to be low-key a banger. I look at both of these fighters, and they don't have submissions in their blood. And granted, the women's fights do go to the judges. They do go distance, but I think they're going to go for it here. I think Ravena Oliveira is fighting for her contract, and I think Stephanie Luciano is coming off of that. I think she's coming off a not controversial loss, but a very close. It might have been a split decision win against Sam Hughes, or was it a loss against Sam Hughes? But nevertheless, it was a split. And I'm just thinking that she's going to want to she lost to Sam Hughes. So she's going to want to make a statement coming off of that loss. She likes standing and banging. Ravina Oliveira, I think as well. Most of her fights end via KO TKO. I'm going to go with the girl's rarity here. Fight ends via KO TKO. Not picking a side, just saying some fireworks in a women's matchup. Plus 265. Let's cash that.
Yeah, I'm going to go on the opposite side. Give me Stephanie Luciano minus 3.5 at plus 100.
That's good for us, though. That's good for us. If she knocks out Ravina Oliveira, we both hit.
I think she needs, or even finds a finish. Yeah, you're right. Yeah, you're right.
Finish or dominant on the scorecards.
Yeah. So her opponent, Oliveira, she's shown some really subpar striking from what I've seen in her brief time in the UFC. And if your striking is not up to stuff, I just think Luciano is not the opponent you want to be throwing down with.
A reminder of like Palastri last week with Kavich, we just talked about.
And I think she looked amazing on the feet in her fights against before Sam Hughes, Taliana Alcenta,
Alencar in the Dana White Contender Series, which to a draw, and then I think they rematched again.
And you mentioned it; she had a close fight against Sam Hughes that could have went either way. So I expect those hands to carry every round and possibly finds a finish here, but I think she just dominates her. So yeah, minus 3.5. You could get that at even money. So I like that.
Let's do it, man. I like you squeezing those odds down on the heavy favorite. And speaking of favorites, man, heavy on the odds here is Drew Dober. He's minus 500 and up, I'm seeing, taking on the hometown kid and Kyle Prepperlick, who's never been knocked out in his fighting career. He's plus 400 here. Are people sleeping on Prepperlick? Is Dober going to continue breaking records in the lightweight division with knockouts? Do you have anything on this fight? Any opinion?
I don't. I can't back Drew Dober at this number, especially. I mean, going against a Canadian here in Canada. You never fucking know.
Yeah. For surprising enough, I think we may reach the scorecards here. Might be hunting it a little bit. As you know, Prepper likes knocking people out. Drew Dober likes knocking people out. But has Drew Dober's chin gone? It's hard to see with the Adonis chin that the boy has, but Prepperlick, like I said, he himself hasn't been knocked out. So I'm thinking that maybe these guys go shot for shot, and it just goes all three. And something tells me that it's a trap fight for people backing Drew Dober. They're trying to look for a prop. They're trying to back him maybe via decision at plus 250. Prepperlick could probably steal this one in his home backyard, as we've seen with the judges. So not picking a side yet again and just taking the over 2.5 rounds at plus 140. People will be surprised. I got no official play in this next one. I think it's too close. I don't know what to make of Danny Barlow. I wouldn't want to lay that. Chalk minus 300. And to Jordan Santos plus 270. I don't think he's worthy of a dog pick. What do you think?
Yeah, no opinion on this one either. I like Danny Barlow, but Santos he's a heavy hitter.
Yeah, heavy hitter. I can't best advice for us in that one is to stay away.
Yeah, 100%.
Now the flyweights, though, I think we might find a sneaky play here. Bruno Silva, it's shown time and time again how tough he is, and most of his UFC losses are either in the third round, more recently, and also decision. But Hyung-Sung Park stepping on that short notice to Tatsuro Taira, who is on his way to a title shot. I mean, we got to see Hyung-Sung Park, who's did the UFC a favor, get a massive win here, and to do so, I think he wins in the first round. I think Park round one win at plus 380 is a viable pick to squeeze that favorite all the way down. It's not the most likely, but it's an outcome I'm willing to take.
I love it.
As we were leading up to this one, the main event of the prelims is a banger, man. Bantamweight matchup between Charles Air Jourdain. He's favored here in Canada at minus 165, but man, are they really going to give us Davy Grant at a dog price again? Just like our boy Ramiz Bamaraj, he's cashing every time he gets picked as a dog.
Yeah, you got to take him. I mean, Davy Grant, I think I see at plus 150, plus 155. Shop around, but he's just a dog. He just finds ways to win. If you can't put out Davy Grant, he will muster up a win. Plus 3.5, I think, is live as well. Because I don't think he's going to get shut out all 3 rounds by Charles.
He could take it and he could give it. I think Jourdain, maybe the wild card here is if he wants to jump Gilly, but that doesn't bode well for a lot of our fighters when they do so. But 2 of his most recent wins, I think, come via guillotine. So you look at Davy Grant's record, his only losses inside the distance have come via that submission. So I think it's kind of it's a chance, but I just don't think it's likely. It's surprising to see Jourdain as the favorite. I'm all over Davy Grant. So let's kick it off in the main card of UFC Vancouver. Surprisingly, as anticipated this matchup may be between Kyle Nelson and Matt Frivola, I'm staying away of this lightweight match. I think it's a little volatile. Matt Frivola, he could find his way. Kyle Nelson's a hard pick, man. I don't know what to make of it. It's a little too close to call, too close to comfort.
Yeah, I gotta play. Give me the dog, Kyle Nelson plus 106. I've always been a fan of Matt Frivola. We follow each other on Twitter. We dapped each other up. He's had some issues with his chins as of late. He's been knocked out in back-to-back fights in each of his last 3 losses. Nelson is coming off a loss himself, but he's always had quite a bit of power from what I've seen. Even if he hasn't been able to score that big knockout, he should be able to use his hands, I think, to pick up at least 2 to 3 rounds in here. So I think the wrong guy is favored coming off a long layoff. I'm going to fade that. I'm going to take Kyle Nelson here at plus money.
Not that big of a travel. He looked good making weight. Matt Frivola's got to go all the way across country. Like you said, we've seen him get caught a couple times now. Kyle Nelson's also tough on the ground. Like, he'll get you down, and he not only could submit you, but he could maybe, get some ground and pound in there. I'm looking for a lot of those fighters that are initiating the ground and pound, especially now with 12-6 elbows being legalized. It's changing the game.
Yeah.
So let's move on to this bantamweight division. You got Cody Gibson. I thought he was Canadian, but bro is American, and he's favored at minus 160, taking out Rory Killang at plus 145. I like Rory Killang. I think he comes in a lot underestimated most of the time, and he knocks out guys. I mean, he has that knockout capability, and I think you look at this fight right off the rip, and you're like, decision fight. I think you're pretty sure you could lean one way or the other, whether you want to, take the dog or you want to get a specific pick to squeeze that minus 160 down. But I like I said, Rory Killang, he finds a way to knock people out. And I think Cody Gibson also, with his volume on his feet, he can find a finish, and maybe where Rory Killang lacks the submission game, maybe Cody Gibson can maybe show some result jiu-jitsu. So I'm going under 2.5 rounds in a surprising matchup where you might not see a finish. I'm expecting one. Under 2.5 rounds, plus 150.
I like that because I do expect a finish here. And I think Cody Gibson, he's looked sharp with his takedown since coming back to the UFC. He submitted Brian Kelleher, and he seems, I think, dedicated to his ground game. He's going to get a chance to prove it here against his opponent, who has had some issues being taken down. While he's never been submitted in the UFC, the odds are worth a stab. So I like Cody Gibson. I'd see minus 160. I think it's a good parlay piece. A little chalky. Think he deserves to be the favorite via submission plus 500. Can I entertain you for that? A little pizza bet. I think Cody Gibson finishes him.
I'll get on that $5 pizza bet.
Yep.
Cha-ching.
Cha-ching.
I might have a couple of those coming up because I also think for the next 3, which are massive fights, I think I'm going to put them together, taking a little inspiration from outside, and I'm going to make it a cycle parlay because each of these are going to be prop bets and they're going to be for a specific finish. So let's get it kicked off with the second featured bout of the evening. I would like to refer to it as the flyweight division is going to take place with Manon Fiorot coming off of her title loss to Valentina Shevchenko and a massive favorite at minus 220, taking on Jasmine Jasudavicius. I mean, whoo!
Title eliminator?
Title eliminator. The streak that she on in her own backyard. UFC's doing every favor to keep her going and keep her on track.
And this is the time. Title. Jasmine is on the older side.
Yes, and like we said, if not now, when? I mean, I think Jasudavicius, out of all the fighters Manon Fiorot has fought before, this is one of the most strong fighters she has come across with the grappling heavy attack. And I think we talked about a time we thought it would be Erin Blanchfield to be able to do it, but her game is, even though she's wrestled her entire life, it's more the jiu-jitsu base, right? I think Jasmine Jasudavicius is wrestling heavy, and she's going to find a way to ankle pick Manon Fiorot, take her down, and maybe even find her way to dominant positions, quite possibly the back. But we have seen Fiorot be slick enough to not get submitted. And also she's strong herself. So, maybe she could win a round. But I think Jasmine, with her grappling and just everything, I think she's going to find a way to edge out on the judges' scorecards. And I'm taking Jasudavicius, even though you could take her straight up on the money line. I think the way to bet this fight is for it to go to the judges. And I'm going to take Jasmine Jasudavicius via decision at plus 340.
I love it. I mean, obviously she lost that title fight to Valentina in May. She's going to take on the surging Jazz Davicius in her home country. I think it's a very interesting fight. You know, they're two very talented fighters. She's a 2-1 favorite. When I looked at the odds, I was like, that makes sense. I get why she's a 2-1 favorite. On the feet, she is the better striker. Yeah. And unless Jazz Davicius can get Madame Fia on the ground, I just expect Fia to win a 3-round kickboxing fight. I got a prop, though, that I really like better just because she's a huge favorite. There's no real value in her. You know, the game plan for Jasmine, I think, is pretty clear. She's going to need plenty of takedowns in order to beat Mana Fia. Yeah. And, you know, in her striking. However, when Erin Blanchfield came in with that same game plan against Fia, she came up short every single attempt. I don't rate Jazz Davicius grappling quite as high as cold-blooded Erin Blanchfield.
Okay, that's fair.
So I don't think she'll have that much success. So just to push back when you say ankle pick and everything, I'm going to take Jazz Davicius under 1.5 takedowns at -135. I think that's a weird angle to take.
Not really.
I just don't think. I think Mana Fia. I think her grappling and her takedown defense is really good. And I think it's underrated. And I think Erin Blanchfield is one of the best. And when she just dedicated the whole game plan to that and not get one takedown, I thought I think it's hard for me to imagine watching a fight where Jasmine's able to take her down multiple times. Now she can, and prove me wrong. I just haven't seen that yet. So I'm going to fade that. Take Jazz Davicius under 1.5 takedowns. That's my official play here.
4 inches taller. Jasmine is 5'8". Erin Blanchfield was only 5'4". Like I said, she's stronger. You don't think we talked about the crowd as of late this year playing a huge factor. You don't think that may come into the play? I like the stance you took. You didn't really pick a side.
No,
you definitely leaned more towards the Fia. But I'm just going in on Jasmine and her attempt to become champion. I really am supporting her in her journey, and I think if you beat Mano Fia,
you get your next
shot.
Yeah, you're next. 100%. I'll agree with that. I want to see it to believe it because I think Erin's wrestling is better than Jasmine. So
that's my argument. She's wrestled her whole life. My cousin knows her personally. She has her in the contact list. She's like, let's call Erin. And you know, just wrestling her whole life. And the jiu-jitsu, I would say it, but you know, maybe there's just, like you said, the point in her career, the age that she's at, there's something like Erin has time. Maybe she had that fire under her to get the job done. Maybe Jasmine does in Canada.
I love it.
So let's see. So that's the decision pick. Now let's go into this next fight. 135 pounds. The men are going to take center stage. Is Marlon Chito Vera at +115, taking on another surging Canadian and Ayman Zahabi -120. You know, I think we've made some money backing Zahabi. He has all the credentials, the intangibles, the fundamentals that you would expect in a fighter that needs him at age 37. For us, Zahabi being his brother, you get TriStar, you know, martial arts in your camp and just doing it for years on end makes you into kind of a final product that you see today. But I think all good things come to an end, and you're fighting a guy who, I get it, you know, maybe hasn't looked the best as of late, but you look at his resume, you look a guy who's hungry. If you look at his blogs, you look what he's doing in his personal life. He even come out and said he's changed everything. And I know we've heard that maybe one time before with Sean O'Malley, but Marlon Vera seems absolutely locked in for this event. And like I said, I think it's just about time we see Zahabi get knocked out.
Wow.
So I'm all in on Chito Vera, stunning the crowd. As many Canadian fighters as I took, I don't think this is one of them. So give me Marlon Chito Vera to establish the bantamweight division with a knockout here. KOTKO at +500 for the dog.
Hey, Kenny Florian, I got you, baby. when he revenged that Jose Aldo loss. That was a great soundbite.
That's right.
Coming off that huge win in Montreal back in May. I think he's looking to add another veteran to his resume. Both Zahabi and Chito Vera, both extremely durable. I mean, but the difference in this fight, I just think will be Zahabi's output, and we see it time and time again. Chito Vera's tendency to start this fight slow, And I think Zahabi also has the ability to take down Vera and kind of keep him there. You mentioned his brother TriStar. I think he just has that degree in wrestling. And, if he isn't having success on the feet, I think he could get there and take him down and kind of keep him there. And on top of all that, Chito Vera has been taking a lot of damage in his 15-year career. So more than likely, I think the fight goes the distance. I think it's a great number on Zahabi, straight up -135. He's not losing at home.
I like it, man. I'm just I think that fool's getting knocked the fuck out. I can't fade Cheeto. Your boy, you met him.
No, he's a legend. He's a great guy.
I know it's gonna be tough. It's gonna be tough. But I'm rooting for him. I'm actually biased a little bit in that one, so it's a little bit of a heart pick. Yeah. I just think you need to see Zahabi get knocked out. I hate to say it, man. I really do.
Why do we need this?
He's a punchable face, bro. Just be real.
No.
That's just my opinion. So. He can punch me if he sees me personally. It's all good. Welterweight matchup next, man. Are you backing Kevin Holland? I just don't think I can ever back him again. I get it. 170. He wants to be a title challenger, but I don't know, man. I really, the product, it doesn't match the words, right? The actions don't match the words. You could say one thing and do another. And what am I supposed to believe? I'm going to believe the actions because they speak louder than the words. And you've been waiting a long time to say it. And I think Mike Malott here at a pick'em fight is a great pick. You could take him straight up, but I'm willing to go all in on, like I did once the second featured bout. I have a decision for Jazz Divizius. My featured bout, I have Chito Vera via KO TKO at +500, and I'm taking Malott via submission at +400. He gets the crowd ignited as the final Canadian fighter.
Yeah, I think you need to say his name in a New England accent. Mike Malott. Yeah, I think this is an incredibly close fight. I think I like both of them. I think Kevin Holland's extremely talented, and I think Mike Malott is as well. Coming off a knockout loss to Daniel Rodriguez in July, I think he's going to be more defensive-minded and a little less reckless offensively to kind of avoid getting tacked by Malott, who he's on a 2-fight win streak, kind of put that Neil Magny loss behind him. Yep. And Malott, he's used a lot of his wrestling and ground game more recently, which I think should come in handy in this fight. So I think he's going to have success with his takedowns. I think he's going to be able to keep Holland on the back foot of the majority of the fight. If a finish happens, I expect it to come late in the fight. Not going to choose a side. I think it's a coin flip fight. I'm going to take over 1.5 rounds and play it safe here, and I'm going to get that at -160.
Fair price. And I like the sharp bets you make. A little safe, close to the chest, and I'd be reaching. I'd certainly reach. And speaking of a reach, that parlay that I just mentioned, those 3 odds combined, the decision, KO, and submission, all come together for a cycle parlay worth over 11,000. It's like 11,516 to be exact. But you could find that it'll be it varies depending on the sportsbook you choose. But I'm probably gonna go to North Carolina and place that. I'm that confident, and let's see if it hits. So we've made it to the main event at UFC Vancouver, and it was supposed to be Anthony Fluffy Hernandez here, but an injury sidelines him, and he may have lost his opportunity here because if Brendan Allen could steal the show, maybe he gets something out of it. But I think it's a hard test to pass when you're facing a surging RDR who I don't think anyone has really an idea what to expect from the man still. And he's already 6 fights into the UFC, right? It happened really quickly, but I just don't feel like people have a full understanding of what he has to offer. If it hits the mat, be very worried of his jiu-jitsu because RDR hasn't really showcased it yet, and he's a savant when it gets there. So with RDR being the favorite, a $2 favorite here, Brendan Allen, granted, had a couple weeks to prepare. I just don't think it'll be enough. You got to take RDR straight up. I'm willing to lay that chalk because I think any which way could go his.
Yeah, I kind of agree. I think the price makes sense. And if Brendan Allen winds up pulling this upset, he could put himself right in the title picture at middleweight in 2026. However, I just believe a 5-round fight favors RDR here over Allen. He just went 5 rounds with a future Hall of Famer in Robert Whittaker back in July. He was able to dictate the pace in the final round and get the win. Unless Brendan Allen catches RDR in round 1, I just feel like his gas tank is going to run out as the fight goes on. And I think it goes a little longer than most people anticipate. If you don't like laying over $2, I don't mind over 2.5 rounds at -124. I think
as much as Allen likes jiu-jitsu and he's good there, we've seen it. He'll stand and bang like he did with Chris Curtis.
Yeah, and I just think RDR's been outstanding since coming into the UFC. You know, he's submitted grapplers, he's out-wrestled wrestlers, and he slugged strikers. So now he gets a late replacement in Brandon Allen that might not be as good as several guys that he's already fought. So 205 seems like a ridiculously low price considering everything. So I think he's the right side. I love the over 2.5. I think he goes a little longer, and I think RDR eventually puts him away. But yeah, I love RDR. I think he's one of my favorite plays this weekend.
Yeah, I think he could be a lock. I mean, that's what I'm saying. If Brendan Allen does something, I think it'll be shocking to not only just us hardcores, but casuals as well. They'd be surprised to see that. So, but RDR with a win, title shot, right?
Has to be.
I mean, he made the date, right? No injuries, no setbacks.
Every time.
The fight, does it on the streak that he is coming in as a high prospect from 1. Yeah, you got to give him a shot now.
I mean, he's been ridiculous since coming into the UFC. Like I said, he beat a split decision over Robert Whitaker. He knocked out Bo Nickel. He submitted Kevin Holland. He submitted GM3. I mean, he's 5-0. 4-0, excuse me. 4-0 in 2024. He's about to be 4-0 in the UFC, but he's 3-0, about to be 4-0 in the calendar year. I mean, if it wasn't for Merab, he's my fighter of the year.
Yeah, he'd be fighter of the year, man. So, you got to go all in on RDR here to get that title.
No pun intended. And all in on RDR.
All in on RDR, yo. Good one. Nobody else, I think, really deserves the shot. Fluffy, he lost his shot. He lost his opportunity, I think, for the meantime. I
love him, but we see that. All right, kid. Good luck. Like I said, prelims start at 4 p.m. Main card goes off at 7 p.m. here on the East Coast. We got some news. UFC 323, and boy, it is fucking stacked. Headline by the GOAT in the bantamweight division. Merab Dvalishvili will defend his bantamweight title against Petr Yan December 6th, UFC 323, the rematch. He is set to make history with his 4th title defense of 2025, breaking the record for most defenses in a single calendar year. And can you guess the line?
Guess the line? -300 Merab.
-310 for Merab, plus 250.
That's fair. I don't get it like that close.
No, I'll give it to you because you never really get that close, but holy shit. And I think it's light.
I was going to say where my Jan stands at, baby. No, Merab's going to probably punish him.
I mean, what a main event. Co-main event. Alex Pantoja? I almost said Pereira. I don't know why. Pantoja. He will defend his flyweight against Joshua Van in the chief support for the flyweight title. Can you guess the line?
Guess the line on that one. To me, all right, I'm going to give you 2 on this one. Okay. I personally think, I know Van had a great performance. I think it should be like -400, -500 Pantoja. I'm going to say it's -185 Pantoja.
-225 Pantoja, plus 190 for Joshua Van.
I think it should be, like you said with Merab, with Pantoja, I think it'd be.
Even though he carries that knockout power.
Josh Van?
Yes.
I haven't really seen him tested on the ground.
Wow.
Pantoja,
and you think Pantoja will be able to get this fight to the ground? Yeah. When he comes out to Manny, man, I want to put my whole savings on him.
If Pantoja comes out fucking heavy Muay Thai and then he goes for a takedown, you're just like, what the fuck am I doing? Why am I in this octagon?
Why am I in this? And Joshua Van's like, damn. So yeah, those are the headlines. The main event in the chief support. Other fights, we got the whole card, almost the whole card. Jan Blachowicz taking on Borgan Guskov.
They love Guskov. They fucking love that dude for some reason.
This is a great fight. Triple C taking on Peyton Talbot.
People are arguing how they don't see Peyton Talbot winning. I obviously see a younger fighter that's probably a little more hungry and not on his way out. As we talked about, we weary of older fighters on their way out. Henry
But-
Cejudo
but-
might not be a good backer here.
I'm sorry. This is an Olympic gold medalist. Now, we're not going to sit here. And I will not tolerate disrespect
I'm not
on it.
disrespecting him. I'm just saying be wary of.
I'm wary, but
he's ready to coach, bros. Opened up his gym. He's ready to get out of there.
but he's also ready to take fucking heads.
If he
Payne Talbot
loses,
better be wary
retires.
of that.
if he beats Payne Talbot, he needs one more fight for a title shot. No, I'm just but he still would be ranked in the top 10, right?
Yeah.
So this is a big fight for Talbot. As we said, the
Big
pressure
step up.
But Frank Ocean, I hear, will be in attendance. No,
that doesn't matter. What happened when Payne Talbot stepped up last time and he was a huge favorite? Shit.
Harney Barcelos wrestled him.
And what is Henry Cejudo?
A wrestler.
So we
he
also got to
uses it.
He will in this fight.
Right.
I had a crazy thought in my head. We got Brandon Moreno taking on Tatsuro Taira.
Yep.
Thank you very much.
One win over Brandon Moreno gets you a title shot. I think
100%.
as most fighters of the flyweight division, if you beat Brandon Moreno, you're getting a shot. But Brandon Moreno, there's the perennial threat for that title. If he beats Tatsuro Taira, what do you say about him?
You're ready. You're right back in the mix.
Right back in the title shot, or he's just in the mix?
I think he needs one more, but he's right there.
You gotta see the fallout. Right?
Yeah.
You gotta see what even happens in the title fight.
Fares Zaham, he's gonna take on he's gonna take on Nazim Sadikov, Saralongo boy. That's a banger of a fight.
That's a banger fight, yo. As skillful as both guys are, and easily could either guy with most opponents could cruise to a decision with the skill that they have.
Mm-hmm.
I don't know. Someone might catch someone, right? Nazim Sadikov brings it.
He brings it. And it's so hard to knock him out.
And Faraz Ziam is as talented as they can stand-up department.
Other fights announced of this UFC 323 card: Chris Duncan taking on Terrence McKinney, under 1.5. Grant Dawson,
CLD, right?
Yeah. What happened?
Okay. CLD, Christian Leroy Duncan.
No, Chris Duncan.
That's why I always wanted to make sure.
Yeah. Grant Dawson taking on Manuel Torres.
Damn.
And we got Bruno Ferreira taking on the Italian stallion Marvin Vettori. That's a great fucking card.
I think we're all a little bit fatigued with Vettori, right? It's like,
Brandon Ferreira via knockout.
Yeah.
I'm just kidding. And we also got
the Italian chin. Come on.
We also got a really fun fight, and unfortunately, it was supposed to headline. Apparently, according to Sean Brady and Ian Gary, they were going to headline UFC Vancouver. Now it's Sean Brady taking on Michael Morales, UFC 322, November 15th. That's a tough fight for Sean Brady.
Yeah, and it's Ian Gary and Leon, right? No, not Leon.
No, Ian Gary versus Bilal. Remember the name.
All right. So my question to you is, does that fight get the title? Winner of that fight get the title?
Yeah.
Bilal and Ian?
Yeah.
Not Michael Morales and Sean Brady?
No.
They've been clamoring that Sean Brady deserves a title shot.
Doesn't deserve it.
They might not think too highly of him.
He doesn't move the needle.
If they're matching him with Michael Morales moves the needle.
100%. If he goes out there and starches Sean Brady,
title shot over whoever wins, Ian Gary or Bilal.
Especially if it's a 5-round snoozer.
If I fall asleep,
it might. But remember the name. And then boxing, like I said, the trilogy. Anderson Silva taking on Chris Weidman in a 6-round heavyweight boxing match on the undercard of Jake Paul, Tank Davis, November 14th.
If someone breaks their leg in this, I'll never watch sports again. No, I'm playing. No, yeah, I mean,
Chris Weidman via knockout.
Yo, I was gonna say you could see he's gonna be outmatched, don't you think? On the feet,
Chris Weidman
stand up. I mean, he did knock him Anderson Silva gets all cocky again. He does this again, and then I'm gonna tell you right now, I'm on Anderson Silva.
Wow. Can't wait for that November 14th. And then, kid, that's all I really had. But why don't you take us away? Take us home. KSW 111 Phil DeFry. Absolute legend.
Absolute legend. And he's going to retain. He's going to do it again and again and again. He might retire before he even retires defending the belt.
What's the line on him?
Minus 450. I think you got to lay it. Stephen Wojcik, it's a one-trick pony. He's going to try to knock out Phil DeFry, but Phil DeFry doesn't get knocked out. I don't think he's ever lost via KO TKO. I think he has been caught submission once and maybe a couple decision losses, but tremendous record, only 6 losses in his career. Phil DeFry is a guy who doesn't lose. He owns KSW. You got to take Phil DeFry here and mind you, that's his nickname.
Yeah, he's an absolute legend, and that is when? Tomorrow night or Sunday?
Tomorrow afternoon.
Tomorrow afternoon, going right into, or maybe coinciding with the prelims. So shout out Phil DeFry. Good luck on your fight.
Another good KSW card if you're trying to wet your whistle before Vancouver.
Okay, what else you got? Anything else before we get up out of here, or we're all good?
I've been pretty hot with my predictions. I saw Dodgers going up 3. I saw the
nice
out on the ALCS.
Who do you got tonight? Blue Jays?
Surprisingly, yeah. I'm gonna go ahead.
Blue Jays too. The bats have woken up.
Taking a lead. Vladdy, bro, you got to pitch around him.
Why they keep pitching to him? I don't know.
I don't understand, but I guess in situations you have to. But if he's up with no one on, I'm walking him. I'm intentional. I won't even show him a pitch.
Yeah, so it should be really good. Enjoy baseball tonight. Enjoy the fights tomorrow. Good luck on all your bets, and we will see you guys next week. Peace.